Welcome back. We're going to cover the learning objectives in this short video, but I want to put a little emphasis on this quote by Gary Brecka. This was given on the Joe Rogan show, and my wife and I were listening to it, and it was so powerful to understand what Dr. Brecka was actually saying. So let me just read this to you. Aging is the aggressive avoidance of discomfort. Boredom is an aggressive avoidance of discomfort. Boredom is one of the biggest challenges retirees have for many reasons. One of them is they lose their structure. Another one is they don't have a purpose. Another one is they don't know who they are. They don't know what they want to accomplish. As a result of all of that, all these things combining, we have mental health challenges. We start socially isolating, and we don't have a purpose for when we go on to for leisurely things, for vacations, and we go to the wrong things first. So the sequence gets out of line. When we want to live healthy, the golden years, for example, if we want those to be as productive as we possibly can, let's stop the aging process. The way we stop it isn't to focus all our energies on a higher rate of return. There gets to a point where money's not going to buy you any more happiness, which we'll cover a little bit later on and is given in the podcast, which I'm going to refer to in just one moment. But when you go through all your effort to avoid the aging, you're going to age because you're avoiding the discomforting things that are required for you to be healthy, to be happy, to experience what we call wealth. So here are the learning expensive. Let me do that again. So here are the learning objectives that we want to cover in the rest of the first half or the first segment of these, keeping in mind every single step that I'm going to cover through this process is to shut down or slow down the aging process. So number one, understand and appreciate that retirement is new. It's new since the 1950s, at least in discussion. Reality is that most people, when they retire, don't have a lot of money to retire on. We can still be happy. We can still experience wealth. The predominant idea is learning how to transition and prepare for said retirement. Number two is to differentiate between money and wealth. I'm going to go into that a little bit later, but I did allude to it in the last segment. Money and wealth are different. I know that the financial industries kind of semantically put them together. We're wealth advisors, or will help you grow your wealth. But everything that is saying is all money related. The higher rate of return, a better investment, a better show in some fashion. That's not wealth. Happiness is part of wealth. We'll cover that again a little bit later. This part is so critical to discover the role that your identity, who you really are, your best self, your authentic self, and why do you get up in the morning in your retirement years. Knowing those two things sets you up on a trajectory into the retirement years, or what we call the golden years, to find wealth. If you don't, wealth is going to be a really difficult hide and seek game. And then ultimately to adopt the habit of living intentionally. These transition steps that I'm going to walk you through are paramount to keeping your body and your mind lively, moving in the right direction, productive, even busy sometimes is better than doing nothing at all. The idea of slowing down aging is the critical aspect, because it's great that we can live into our 80s, sometimes 90s, even into triple digits. But if our quality of life doesn't stay at par, we're shooting bogeys, double bogeys, and triple bogeys into our later years, and it's just not very fun. Think of the yardstick analogy that we did earlier. When you get into that red segment, when our years are red because our health is diminishing, and maybe our physical body's doing great, but our mental body or our mental aspects is not, it's still not very fun for you or for your caregivers. This idea helps you maximize and get the highest probability moving forward that your golden years are golden and that the red years are minimized. All right, in the next video, we're going to go over the history of retirement, and I'm going to introduce you into my podcast and give you a link, which will be connected to everything where you can go and sign up for said podcast. All right, I'll talk to you in the next video.